All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I apologize. Last week I was out because we were putting together our launch of our new EvolutionX Mastermind app, our mobile app and community. And so we had an offsite going on, and generally I'll throw up a replay, but today I'm just going to dig right into some things that I wanted to talk to you about last week. And, I think a lot of you have been kind of reaching out. I've been talking to a lot of different, whether it's clients or mastermind members or community members. And I seem to get a real sense that people have things holding them back, fears that are holding them back, whether it's economy, whether it's finances, whether it's their own personal limiting beliefs. But I felt like today I really wanted to talk with you a little bit about how you can lean into your fears and go to the next level. But before I do that, I just want to kind of give you a little update. We have the Daily Mastermind that is going to be rebranded and relaunched here at the 1st of April. We've got some incredible content happening. And part of the reason for that is our partnership with Valiant CEO Magazine has pushed us to really expand our podcast network. And we're going to be launching a new podcast called The Authority Formula. And the Authority Formula is designed to really highlight individuals that have created authority and have really they're crushing it in business. So I'm excited to be able to launch that on the heels of our EvolutionX Mastermind group. And, all of these things, the reason I tell you this, all these things are resources that I'm putting together in order to help you take your life to the next level. It's never too late to start living the life and creating the life that you were meant to live. But in order to do that, you've got to do some uncomfortable things. And one of those is to lean into and face the fears that are holding you back. And there's a lot of different things that we can talk about with that. So I'm going to get right into it here. All of us have challenges and fears in our life that we're facing from time to time. And whether they're minor things or sometimes they can be really debilitating things that kind of keep you paralyzed, either way, you're only going to grow and succeed when you face your fears. And so most of us have heard that, success and growth is created outside your comfort zone. And I really love that statement because it reminds me to focus on opportunities that are presented to me whenever a challenge or a fear comes up in my mind. And I've experienced this time and time again, success and fulfillment that's come in my life from facing fears and leaning into what I fear the most. And so today I want to dig into this conversation. This might be a little bit longer podcast, but it's really, I think, appropriate right now. There's never been a better time to learn and act on this principle of facing your fears. And mainly because our business, our social, our economic environment is all putting so many things in your way. And I feel like you can use these obstacles, these fears as opportunities to both learn about yourself, but also grow and create your best life. But it's going to require some bold, courageous, and intentional actions on your part. I hope this is something that you'll really take to heart. So let me ask you this. What do you fear the most? I want you to really ask yourself that question. What is it that you fear right now in, for example, your professional life? Is there an opportunity that you've been considering and presented with, but man, you're just you got some reservations? Is there a skill that you've been putting off learning or developing because you feel like maybe you wouldn't be able to get it? Or a personal passion that you've wanted to start building a business around, or even maybe it's investing opportunities that you just don't feel qualified or comfortable with. Maybe you even have current challenges or problems in your life or business that you don't feel qualified to deal with, but maybe it's things that continue to, surface in your life. Regardless of what the fear is that is present in your life right now, I can promise you this: your greatest accomplishments, your best life, it all lies beyond that specific challenge or fear. See, I believe that your fear is there for a reason that's going to benefit you. Maybe it's your gut telling you that you need to address something. Maybe it's your subconscious mind identifying to you an area that you can learn and grow from. Think about it as something that's maybe a signal for you. Don't get me wrong. I do believe there are fears that can be real, in life and especially in our minds. But I also believe that most fear is something that we create in order to avoid problems in our lives. Is there something that maybe you're trying to avoid because fear, like the acronym says, false events appearing real or false evidence appearing real. Maybe another way to look at fear is just to see it as an opportunity. If you shift your mindset and you highlight it as something that's a red flag for you to grow into, that might be a way for you to deal with it. But either way, you were meant to do great things, and you can only accomplish your best life by addressing the roadblocks or fears or things that are keeping you from your greatness. So I want to, before I get into some tangible strategic things you can do, I want to ask you one more question. You might be saying, George, why should you start with fear? Why make that the thing to focus on? Well, I think there's a lot that you can gain from or hope to gain from when facing your fears. And how do you actually start doing that? We'll get into, but here are just a few reasons that I think you need to face your fears, and it will help you, in my opinion, to change your philosophy or perspective or filter you put on fear. Okay? The first one's the obvious one, gateway to results. When you face your fears, you give valuable experience to yourself that you can use to grow, build, and learn. It's only through facing those fears that you get those, new growth and learning events in your life. Remember that even failure carries with it the knowledge that will improve your skills moving forward. The second thing is personal growth. The fastest way to grow is to actually stretch yourself. This is certainly going to happen when you face your fears. You learn new ways to accomplish and deal with life, and you're forced to adapt to new environments. So it's the gateway to results, but it also helps you personally grow. The other thing I think you'll find, and maybe you haven't thought about this, is there's increased fulfillment when you face your fears. Personal growth is one of the most important ways to feel a great amount of fulfillment and passion in your life. You feel fulfillment when you're growing. So truly living only happens when you're growing personally and professionally. And facing your fears is an amazing way to actually do that. And so you'll see more fulfillment. And the last one, and this is the one I cannot emphasize enough, is you build confidence and belief. As we face our fears, we build confidence and belief in our own abilities to actually deal with stuff in life. Forget, winning, just dealing with things and the amount of uncertainty that you actually can handle. And handling uncertainty is a key to being successful. Now, the experience that comes from dealing with fears also creates new beliefs that you can handle any situation, that it wasn't as overwhelming as you thought it was. And so this creates more confidence in our ability to stop, dealing with all of these or not dealing with all of these challenges that are in our life. I can go on and on about positive benefits that come from facing your fears, but it's important that you accept and realize that there can be difficult emotional and negative experiences that you have in your life, but if you deal with them, rejection, failure, setbacks, it can also be a gateway to something positive in your life. So anything you can learn from in a situation can be turned into a positive. And so even in the state of fear, you're going to be able to grow and learn. So now let's talk about how can you start crushing your fears. Let's talk about what can you do? What are some tangible things you can do to take action? Because I know it seems overwhelming when you're trying to face your fears. And I've learned all kinds of ways to deal with my fears and challenges and struggles. And you need to figure out what works for you. But I wrote down, a half dozen ideas here of empowering thoughts and techniques and disciplines that I've used over the years. And maybe they're ones that can help you too. The first and most obvious one I've learned from I'm talking 7, 8, 9-figure mentors that I've been able to work alongside, is simply say yes and then figure it out. So when you fear something, you tend to be paralyzed, right? Every 9-figure mentor, though, that I know has adopted this idea that they just say yes and then they figure it out. It's in dealing with your fear that you will actually be able to accomplish it. You don't need to know everything to take action. So say yes and figure it out. Next, good is good enough. Taking action is far more important for your dreams and desires and opportunities. Don't wait for confidence to tackle your fear, because fear is what develops confidence. Confidence comes after you push through your fears, not first. It's like wanting to get heat out of a fire without giving it fuel first. You got to give it action to be able to get the heat. So good is good enough. Also, focus your energy. When you're leaning into your fear, you've got to create space to focus your time, energy, and talent on that so that you can develop the skills necessary to handle it. When you're multitasking while you're facing your fears, you are setting yourself up for mental challenges. So focus your energy when you're dealing with something that you fear or that you are leaning into. Another one is surround yourself with positive people. Facing fears can be scary already, but you can build up your confidence, belief, and abilities by surrounding yourself with others that have maybe already faced those fears and overcome them. They can help you to benefit. That's why the power of a community is so important. You get these things I've talked about before, like belief transference and positive influence and support along the way. When you have that, you know what I mean? It's like when you're around that, you feel like you can do anything. And so surround yourself with positive people. Another way to deal with your fears is to eliminate distractions. The best way to deal with fears is to block out some time and hit them head on. Don't allow distractions, naysayers, haters, things that are easy. And let me double down on that. When you are facing your fears, a lot of times these little easy things that you can pivot into are distractions that keep you and let your mind feel safe by taking easy paths. And those are just there to distract you, and they're there to keep you from growing. So eliminate those distractions, whether they're random things like social media or people in your life, or whether it's just a better path, a better opportunity. That's a distraction too. The other thing, maybe the last suggestion I'd have for you, is do less, not more. Confidence comes from simplifying and clarifying what you're doing. The key to handling your fear is not taking everything on at once. Don't feel like you need to do it all. Just take the first step. Do less. Most times the answers, details, and solutions come along the way. So the path, it involves taking that first step, not trying to do everything all at once. You can only take it one step at a time. Ultimately, there's really no magic pill for you to deal with your fears, and everyone's a little different, but you're the only one equipped to handle your fears because it's in your mind that you're dealing with them. And if you just remember and adopt the idea that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is there to benefit you, then your perspective will give you the confidence to drive your experience and face your fears. True or not, that's going to empower you to at least be more productive in dealing with it. Now, I want to give you one last warning before I go here. I've had a thought that kind of came to me, and I've mentioned this in past episodes, but it's pretty simple, but it's pretty serious word of caution. Sometimes we fail to recognize that the opportunity or situation that's already presented in our life, that we're already working with, is what we fear dealing with the most. As a result, as entrepreneurs, investors, or just human beings, we use new objects, new opportunities, new shiny things, right? Not to deal with the fear that we currently have. Let me give you an example. So many times I've seen entrepreneurs and individuals looking at new opportunities in order to find a way to get where they want to be, rather than dealing with the opportunity they already have in front of them, because subconsciously they fear it. You can't move from opportunity to deal to path to path, thinking you're operating outside your comfort zone or facing new challenges, when the truth is you're just avoiding dealing with the thing you've got in front of you. You've got to learn to face your fears regardless of where they are in your life. It's not always new opportunities that you fear. It might be the one you're working on. So I know that you all have the ability to deal with what you need to create your best life. And I know that you're given challenges. You are specifically given those fears for a reason, to grow and develop the best version of yourself. It's not just an obstacle. It's the path. It's not a destination driven by an objective. It's the path to this journey that's going to help you become the best version of yourself. And we learn and we grow and we develop along the way for our entire lives. So when you fall in love with the process, the path, when you crave the need to face your fears, that's when you're going to release this true greatness that you have in front of you. You're on a path that rewards the person that's willing to lean into their fears to benefit yourself, your family, your business, the people that work with you. So by avoiding your fears, you're going to be left with disappointment and regret and failure, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But when you lean into those fears, I think you're going to find a very interesting thing happen. I'll leave you with this thought. Wayne Dyer said that as you look back on the tapestry of your life, you'll gain a better perspective and meaning and purpose of what those challenges really meant to you. And it's my hope that as you push yourself, that when you lean back and you look back on your life, that you're going to have that confident, happy, fulfilled feeling that you did lean into your fears, that you did take risks, that you did embrace change, and that you learned to love the process along the way. So that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. I look forward to talking with you more tomorrow. Do me a favor, share this episode. It'd mean the world to me, and it would make a big difference in a lot of people's lives. So share the episode. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind on Facebook, Instagram, or check the show notes if you want to get in contact with me personally. I always respond to all my messages personally, and I look forward to talking with you more. Once again, this has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great day.